Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're all here. I don't know why I did it so cutesy, but hi. For today's video, I thought we could look at, it's like 1 week away to my birthday. I'm going to be turning 24, and I thought it'd be a great time to reflect on everything I learned during my 12th house perfection year, because you enter your 12th house perfection year when you turn 23, and then obviously when you turn 24 you go back to your first. So this is the first time you've ever, well, I like to think of it anyway, it was like the first time you've ever experienced every single part of your astrological house, every single part of it, and you've completed it. I feel like I've completed something, so I just wanted to share with you guys, anyone who either hasn't had their 12th house perfection year yet, or maybe you've had it and you're kind of like, okay, well, it was kind of like this and this, or maybe you want to see how it relates to me or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience with you guys. If you're interested, don't forget as well, if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, comment below, let me know about your experiences too, because I always like to read them. I always like to hear what people have to say. And yeah, if you are interested in seeing more from me, I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content, and you can subscribe down below. And let's get straight into it. I thought it would be the wisest to do 12 things I learned for my 12th house perfection year, because 12 and 12, it just seems like a great meshing. Number one, the first thing, well, it's not in order, of course, of the things I learned, but anyway, number one, I can't control other people's actions, but I sure as hell can control mine. I used to feel like I was such a person who was so kind of out of control, like, especially when it came to maybe relationships or other people and how they were acting, and I would try and change myself to improve how they're acting, or, you know, have a better outcome for maybe them rather than thinking about me, when really it's like I can't control what they do. Like, I have no control over what they think of me, what they do to me, but I have a control over how I respond or how I feel about that thing, XYZ. Like, basically I have all the control, and I feel like that was such an empowering kind of light bulb moment for me, because I guess in my brain I just never realized I had control, which is such a strange thing. And I feel like a lot of us actually do feel that kind of sense of a lack of control when it comes to things like life in general, I guess, especially as you grow up. Like, so many things feel out of your control: where you live, who your parents are, who you're surrounded by at school, your teachers, and having to go to school and all these different things. Everything feels out of your control, but actually you have so much control, and I have control over how I respond to people or how I act in situations, whether that is, you know, basically I'm such a people pleaser, and I don't have to be a people pleaser, you know, because people pleasing comes down to the fact that you're trying to manage how people see you and how people respond to you or perceive you, and you want them to like you, which is a fair enough thing, of course, but also I have no control over how that person thinks or feels about me. At the end of the day, I can just do my best, and whatever judgment they want to make, that's on them. Number two, breathe. Oh my gosh, breathe. I realized during this year just how much of an anxious person I am. I feel like I've been speaking a lot about this in my kind of vlogs and other videos, but I never really saw myself as an anxious person, because I think I could just manage it so well, which is basically just ignore it and hope it goes away. It's like, because I didn't have panic attacks, or because I wasn't like crippled by my anxiety, then I thought I'm not an anxious person. But actually, you are a bloody anxious person. You just kind of suppress it in a way. So yeah, breathing, breath work has been such a lovely thing to have to implement. Like, I feel like it's actually become a tool for me, which, yeah, we breathe every day. It's something like you do without thinking about it, but when you are in such a heightened state, especially if you have anxiety and stuff like that, or you just become overwhelmed by things. Like, you don't have to have like a prescribed level of anxiety. Like, everyone experiences anxious moments, and breathing in those times helps so much. It's such an easy thing to do. Like, it's free, it's fun, it's lit, it's a good time. But yeah, it's like breathing when you feel angry, breathing when you feel overwhelmed, breathing when you feel anxious, breathing when you feel stressed. Like, just breathe and everything will be okay. You're at the mercy of a bigger plan, so you might as well surrender to it. Like, whether you believe in God's plan, destiny, your own free will, your own, whatever you want to call it, like whatever religious or spiritual beliefs you have, or atheist beliefs you have, like it comes back to number one. You can't control everything. I can try and manifest myself a mansion, but it's not going to appear by tomorrow. Like, at the end of the day, I can try and wish and manifest and dream and whatever words people be using, anything I want, but if it's not meant for me, it's not going to be for me. Like, if I enter a relationship with someone and they're not meant to be, like, if it's not meant to be, it's just not going to be, right? Like, I can try my hardest. Like I said, I can only control my side of my side of anything. So I can try my hardest, I can put all my work in, but if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Same way at school, like, I can revise as hard as I can, but if I'm not going to get an A star, then I'm not going to get an A star, or whatever it is now these days. But you're at mercy to life, to a bigger plan. So just surrender to it. The quicker you surrender, the easier things get, I say, but does it really? This is something else. I should probably mention that I have Virgo in my 12th house, and Virgo is a sign of the mind, the sign of thinking, overthinking, overanalyzing. And then I also have Mercury in Pisces. So Virgo and Pisces are quite similar in some kind of ways. But actually, I realized during my 12th house perfection year that there are ways to quiet your mind. Like, my mind gets so busy, like overwhelmingly busy, sometimes way too overstimulated. But I found ways during this year, during this time period, to quiet my mind. For example, by reading or exercising. Exercising has been such a big thing for me, whether that is doing really slow yoga or stretching, or doing, like, I think I prefer more of like a vigorous exercise, because it does really, really distract me and I'm focusing solely on my body, solely on the present moment, and that really helps me. But also, like, singing. When you're singing a song, when you're listening to a tune, I'm not really thinking about anything else. I'm just enjoying the music, or like going for a walk or anything like that. Like, there are ways that you can do that is not paying for a therapist if you can't afford one, or you don't have access to one at this time, to quiet your mind. Number 5, again, comes back to my anxiety. Probably a lot of these things they won't hate you if you don't text back. Like, I'm such a person who, if I receive a text, which my phone does not get busy anyway, so the little people that do be messaging me, I'm like, I gotta text back quickly, because then they'll think that I'm ignoring them, or they'll think that I don't care, or anything like that. That's how my anxious brain is thinking. But actually, it's like, they won't hate you if you don't text back, or as so long as that you're not one of those people who never texts us back, but you get around to doing it, right? Like, you don't have to stop your work or what you're doing. Like, say if I'm filming a video and I receive a text, in the past I probably would have just gone and replied straight away, opposed to now where I'll be like, no, I'm gonna finish this, like, I'm gonna get my shit done, and then I will start engaging with everyone else and their problems, because it's another form of putting people above yourself. Another form of self-care is basically thinking about yourself before you go ahead and cater to everyone else. So yeah, this year has definitely been a year of me filling my cup before I go and fill everyone else's. And it allows me to do it a lot better as well. Like, I'm not frustrated, I don't feel resentment towards it. I feel like I'm willing and I feel happy to be able to help them. So lesson number 6, it's never too late to start. I completed my I completed my degree during my 12th house perfection year, I want to say. Yeah, because it was around last summer. So, and I'm coming to the end now. And, you know, basically when I went into university, I was 2 years behind, which is not crazy, but it's also, I guess, a little bit like you're a mature student. And I had gone to college because I knew which uni I wanted to go to, but I didn't exactly have the grades yet. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take the time now to like, I feel like I didn't really deep it that much, but I was like, I just immersed myself in everything. Like, just go for it, just do it now, just do it now. And I feel like a lot of people be like, wow, I'm so impressed that you actually did that for yourself. And it just goes to show, like, it's never too late to start anything. Like, if I wanted to start a degree tomorrow, like, I could do it tomorrow. And I know I'm kind of young saying that, but also if you are much older than me and you're kind of like, well, you know, like, let me give you another example just to say, is like, when the whole natural hair movement came out, and my hair used to be permed from God knows when, like from when I was a young child to, I think I was until I went to college. So I was around 18, I want to say. So when I was up till I was 18. And I used to be like, okay, a natural hair movement was out and my hair wasn't growing being permed. It was a lot of just like, I wasn't satisfied basically. I wasn't happy with it. And I wanted to go to natural. I wanted to go natural, but I was just scared. I was just like, well, I've been permed all this time and maybe it's too late for me. Like my hair won't grow. And I just say, this is all my hair now. Like, this is my natural hair right now, right? And it's been probably, I want to say 4 or 5 years now. But yeah, like I kind of I almost convinced myself that it was too late to start that. And I know I'm speaking about really simple things, but it can go for the biggest thing as well. Like, if you put the time and effort into something, you can make it happen. Or if you want to do something, you can make it happen. Like, it's never too late to start, right? Even on Twitter, I saw the other day this woman who was like in her, I think it was like 70s or 80s, and her husband had been cheating on her. And then she went and she found the love of her life. Like, she was in her 70s and 80s and she got remarried and she's having the best time of her life. So it's never too late to start. No one will judge you if you fail. Like, I feel like people will, and first of all, if people do judge you if you fail, like, they're not the people you need in your life anyway, first of all. But in general, like, everyone else is just in their own heads anyway. Everyone else is caring about their own journey, that they're not focused on you and what you're doing most of the time. Like, maybe for a split second they're scrolling on Instagram, they see a post and they're like, oh cool, that's what they're doing. But no one will judge you if you fail. So again, just start. Just start it, because no one cares if you fail. If you care if you fail, that's on you. But, like, you know, if anything, people will commend you for the fact that you tried. And I even wrote on my university cap thing that my mum gave me, which she gave me to DIY, which I thought was very sweet. I wrote, every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. And I feel like that was something I really, really found during that time, is like, just by starting this, just by saying yes to things, especially when I'm most scared to say yes to it, get the best results. Again, this kind of falls into it, but people only really care about themselves. And that's a good thing. We should be happy that most people only care about themselves, because it means we can focus on ourselves. It means you can do what you want. You can mix up your words, you can stumble over your words, and they'll be busy thinking about the part that they played in the interaction opposed to the part you played in the interaction, right? Like, most people are just focused on themselves. Like, think about the many times you've walked away from an interaction or a meeting or whatever it may be, and you're thinking about everything you did. You're not thinking about everything they did, unless they did something rude to you. But, you know, like, you're really focused on yourself, and so is that other person. Lesson number 9. People aren't mind readers. You have to tell them what you want. You have to tell them what your boundaries are. You have to tell them what you're thinking. Like, people, especially as someone like me who is very empathetic, who can pick up on little social cues very, very quickly. Like, they have a thing about, I think they said it about Pisces Mercuries, but being a Pisces Mercury is like standing in front of someone but taking a step only every time they take a step, like they're about to take a step, if that makes sense. So it's like, yes, I have an ability to really anticipate people's needs, but not everyone has that skill. And to be honest, most people don't have that skill. Most people, like I said, are concerned about themselves. There is a few of us who overanalyze and think about everyone else, but most people are concerned about themselves. Yeah, so you have to tell them what's on your mind. You have to tell them what you want, your boundaries, anything. Like in a relationship, I've realized you can't just go with the flow. And yeah, you can go with the flow, but you also can't go with the flow, because the flow be getting you in some sticky mud. You get washed up on the shore and the other person's still flowing. So tell people your intentions, tell people what you want, and set boundaries with people, because they can't read your mind. Sometimes people just want to vent, and you don't need to give them advice, and you don't need to help them, and you can just sit there and nod. And you don't have to tell them that they've told you this 500 times. Yeah, I feel like I'm, again, come down to that Virgo's 12th house thing, and like, you just want to help everyone. Sometimes people just don't want help. Sometimes they just want to vent, or they just want to release some stress, even if it is over the most silliest thing. And sometimes we can allow them to do that. Other times we tell them to shut up. No, I'm joking. You can love someone and no longer have them in your life. Like, the number of people who I care about who are no longer in my life, and I wish them well and whatever it may be, but I always thought that if I had this such strong emotion for someone, then they had to be like in my life still. They had to be my friend or my partner or something like that. But no, you can still love them, but they don't have to be in your life. This is the final lesson, and I think it's one of my favorite ones in a way, even though they're all my favorite, but this one I love a lot, which is, it's not weak to want love. I feel like I was always the type of person who would be like, no, I'm fine by myself and I don't need anyone. And, I would see people in relationships who really relied upon their partner and almost seemed like they needed to be in relationships because they would just be in them all the time. And then I was kind of like a person who I met someone, I enjoyed the company, and then I never had that kind of consistent desire to be with people. So I always just felt like, I'm stronger because I don't need that, which is great because, of course you shouldn't need things from people, but it's also not weak to want love. It's also not weak to want to be in a relationship or want to be loved by someone or want to be made to feel special and all these different things. Because when you're a child, which I feel like we equate a lot of weakness to things that are either feminine or childlike, but when you're a child, that's literally what you want. Of course you want food, you want water and all the basics, but even if your parents give you all of the basics but they don't give you love, then you still feel neglected by them. So of course as adults we're still going to want love, we're still going to want attention and all these different things. And I feel like so long as you're not in a point where you're searching for it, in a point where you're so needy for it that you're just accepting anything. And I think as well, for me as well, where I've kind of suppressed that need and been like, I don't need it, it still shows up in your life in your subconscious way, where you're accepting people who are actually unavailable to you, because emotionally unavailable to you, because you're telling yourself you don't need love. So in a way that person is not going to give you love, right? But by telling myself I like love, I want to be loved, I deserve to be loved, is a lot more empowering, and it means I can be a lot more conscious and aware about the type of people I want to bring into my life. So guys, that is everything that I have for you guys today. This is probably my shortest video ever made in a long time, but I hope you guys either learned something today. I hope it inspired you to think about your perfection year. You have one for every year of your age, so maybe you can Google it or something like that. But if you're 23 like me, then you'll definitely be in your 12th house perfection year. And I will see you guys in my next one. Again, I am open for private readings if you're interested. First link in the description. Thumbs up, comment below, and I will see you on my next one.